There's a question that I don't see either answered or asked very often, but it's simple. To action camera or to not action camera? Many of us creators, we have different setups. Some of us use our smartphones to film our content. Some of us have elaborate camera rigs to film our content. And there's people like me. I film all my videos, including this one that you're watching right now, with an action camera, specifically the DJI Action 5 Pro. Before you click off, let me explain. So, my journey. I've been creating content for about 6 months, seriously, if you want to say seriously. But I've been experimenting with content creation for about 1 or 2 years, primarily on TikTok. And like most people, when they first get started off, we start with our iPhones. You know, there's a saying, the best tool with you, no, that ain't it. The best camera is the one you have with you. That's the quote right there. So like most people, I started off on my phone, and I was like, this year I kind of want to level up my content. So let me get a camera. So technically, I lied. Hold on. I'm gonna get you in a second. My first camera wasn't this camera that you're seeing me record through now. My first camera was actually the Sony ZV-1F. And truth be told, I hated the camera. Hold on. Chill out. Before you start in the comment, and I'm saying, that camera is great, you just don't know what you're doing. Let me explain. The reason why I hated it wasn't because it was a bad camera. The reason why I hated it was because me as a creator lacking simple skills of knowing how to use a camera properly is why I didn't like the camera. My experience was flawed because I, as a creator, didn't know what the heck I was doing. I'm thinking, ooh, I'm finna grab this camera, I'm finna create content like my favorite creators on YouTube, and that's not happening at all, because you gotta know how to use cameras for what they're intended for. And that's a lesson that I would pass off to anybody that's asking me about creation, or even my younger self. Look, bro, you're not finna get a new camera and record like Peter McKinnon. You're not finna, you're just not. I'm just gonna be real with you, just not. So again, a lesson I would tell myself, my younger self, is Malik, learn how to use your phone first to, figure out how to compose stuff correctly, how to get your lighting correctly, using how to use manual settings properly, how to, get your lighting set up. Just those things is what I would tell my younger self, or anybody who's interested in content creation, is learn how to use the freaking thing. But while those things may be true, it's a thing too that I didn't like about the Sony ZV-F. And when you get a traditional camera, there are a lot of accessories that you may need to just get your foot in the door. Knock, knock. Yeah, that's the accessory that you're gonna need to get in the door. For me, I'll need a SD card. I'm gonna need a battery charger, because the Sony ZV-F battery, trash. It was not good at all. Like, I remember it just didn't last. And then so you have to get, obviously the SD card, which is a given, a battery charger, and I would just probably invest in more batteries, to be honest. Outside of that, you're gonna need a tripod. You damn sure gonna need a mic. And I know that the Sony ZV-F has a on-camera mic, but let's be real. If you want great audio, you gotta step outside your camera's audio. Some cameras have great audio, but me just being who I am, I'm gonna always want to take the extra step to get even better quality. So that's just a few things that kind of like pushed me away. And then, when you get into like the accessories, you just kind of have to, know what you're doing. And me, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I looked up, I'm like, damn, my budget is about as big as if I would have worked to invest in an actual, camera that's gonna give me the videos that I would actually want. Again, if you see me veering off, I'm looking at my script. I wanna get this video perfect as I can for y'all, but yeah. So I'm looking at the pricing of everything. I'm like, that's like double the cost of the actual camera. So I ended up returning that camera, and I ended up getting this bad boy right here that you're actually seeing me film through right now, which is the Action 5 Pro. So that's why I switched to this action camera setup. It was, at the time for me, it was close to the price of the Sony ZV-F, but that's just for the bundle. The camera alone is cheaper than the ZV-F, period. But I end up going with the Adventure bundle, which came with a plethora of accessories. I'll name a few. I might just insert like a spec sheet or what it came with, but it came with an extension rod. It came with batteries, not one, not two, but 3 freaking batteries in a charging case to charge the batteries with. All by itself. It came with USB Type-C cables, a bunch of other different mounts that I could use to mount it to different surfaces. Obviously the camera itself, and it came with, obviously it's not the greatest quality in the world, but it came with a camera cage. So for $450 before taxes, I'm already beating the price of the Sony ZV-F that costing me around $550 just for the camera alone. So essentially, that's why I switched to this Action camera instead of that camera. I just explained to y'all what the Action 5 came with in itself. And then another thing why I'm liking the DJI camera line, or just product line in general, is like Apple, they have a great ecosystem. So for example, my setup now currently is I film with the Action 5 Pro, clearly, but I paired it with the DJI Mic Mini. I'm gonna show y'all real fast. Like, this tiny thing packs a punch. So I paired with that, and the connection is seamless. Another thing that I use to film these videos is gonna be the DJI Mimo app. That thing is top tier. It's not perfect, but it's top tier. The reason why I'm saying it's top tier is because it just helps me obviously see myself, as I film. And without the app, I would be, obviously this has like a viewfinder on the front of it, but nothing beats being able to use your phone as a monitor to your camera. So obviously Sony has the same thing with the Sony Creators app, but I'm just saying having an app that pairs with your camera is just top tier. But yeah, so I use the Mic Mini for my audio. Obviously, the camera is my camera, and then it came with an extension rod, which I'm using right now to sit on top of my tripod. And then that's pretty much my setup. I don't have anything crazy, extravagant with my setup currently. I do use 2 studio lights. I have the 100DS in front of me as my key light, and then I have the Amaran Panel 60C as like a rim light. But that's kind of my setup. But so you can kind of see why, for me, the Action camera just made more track with what I was saying in the last clip. But this camera also is capable of recording 4K. There's a slow-mo option. There's a night mode option, like most cameras, and also too, the stabilization on this camera is insane. The quality is insane. Like, y'all let me know how this looks in the comment below, but I think just from what I'm seeing in my viewfinder, it looks very great. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, but I can record and log, which is always gonna be better than recording in auto. So I use the D-Log M flat color profile, and then when I'm editing, I use combination, but DJI actually has like a LUT that you can apply to your footage that makes the color grading seamless. Obviously, you might want to tweak things to get it to obviously you might want to tweak some things to get it to your preference, but I feel like the DJI log profile is pretty good right off the bat. I have purchased a few different third-party LUTs from people like YC Imaging on YouTube. His LUTs are pretty dope. I've downloaded a few off of Motion Array. So when it comes to like your type of style and what you're going for, the possibilities are endless. The ZV-1F didn't have a log profile, obviously, for that price point, but there's ways to color grade it. But I'm just not a person that wants to color grade. So if you're like me and just starting out, I wouldn't too much worry about, having the perfect setup or the best quality out of anything. I would just learn the basics, create with what you got. And then once you feel like, okay, I've mastered this, then look at, upgrading, to an actual camera. And then I gave my thoughts on, whether action cameras are a viable option for content curation. I wanna hear from y'all. Are you team phone? Are you team camera rig? Are you team action camera? Or you maybe even 360 camera? Drop it in the comments below. And until then, I'll see y'all next time. Peace.